Hey there, my meaty friends. This is Reed, aka CarnivorousChef, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make bread pudding, which is kind of crazy to say considering it's made out of meat for the most part. There are some optional ingredients in here, so don't forget that. So if you have complaints, feel free to complain in the comments. I'm used to it by now. So this is probably the third time I've ever actually made bread pudding. I'm going to go ahead and give you a nice big spoiler here. It was a bit strange. However, I see a lot of applications that this could be used for, whether it be savory or just using like other artificial sweeteners that do work with it, or even honey or sugar if you're into that. I'm not judging you if you are. But either way, it was really fun to make. I had a good time experimenting with this. I haven't done an actual experiment in a while, so it was just really nice to kind of see what happens. And before we get started, I'm gonna get you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with people who you think might like it, and most of all, enjoy it yourself. Let's get started. For this recipe, I decided to make my carnivore cornbread as my bread. If you haven't seen that video, here's a quick recap. In a bowl, add in 6 ounces of ground pork rinds, 6 eggs, 12 ounces of cooked ground chicken, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Slap that into a blender on low until you have a nice doughy consistency. Next up, place a small cast iron pan over medium-high heat along with 2 tablespoons of butter or ghee. Once the butter or ghee starts to melt and get all bubbly, you can dump in your cornbread batter and start to spread it out. It doesn't have to look perfect by any means since we'll be chopping it up later. While it's being spread out, it's also starting to fry. We want this to sit on the heat for about 3 minutes to get the crust started. After that time, place this pan into an oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean when stuck into the center. Well, looky here, it's beautiful as always. Get this out of the pan and onto a cutting board because it's time for the dicing song. Well, there once was... I'm just kidding. I may be an entertainer on YouTube, but I'm no clown. Okay, maybe I'm a clown, but that's not the point. Dice up your carnivore cornbread and place it back into your cast iron pan. I've been dealing with custards a lot more lately, and I'm excited to announce that I'm making another one. For this one, add in 1 cup of heavy cream and 2 eggs. Follow this up with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 2 tablespoons of erythritol. The erythritol is optional. This adds a weird flavor with the chicken, and I had to balance it out with about a teaspoon of lemon juice, but it still wasn't quite there. Give this a passionate whisking before pouring all of it into the pan. Try to coat as much of the bread cubes as possible when doing this. This will add to the browning later. I top this with a little cinnamon and about another tablespoon of erythritol. Tint this with some foil and place it into an oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes or until the custard is set. After 30 minutes, I removed the foil and placed it back in for another 5 minutes to allow it to brown a bit more. I was super excited to see that this looked exactly like normal bread pudding. I topped it with some whipped cream, which was just heavy cream and a touch of vanilla that I whipped up with a milk frother, and just a tiny bit more of cinnamon. And for the taste, it's strange. I will be right up front about that. However, it's not bad. Like I said earlier, the chicken clashes with a fake sweetener. I'd almost say go with a savory route for this one by adding some garlic and herbs if you want. And if you're animal-based, I bet honey would make this taste much better. But this is all up to you. I like how I said it tastes strange, yet you're just sitting here watching me eat all of it. See you all next time.